All right. Well, the Raiders lost on Sunday. I don't want to talk about it. We already know that I don't want to talk about it. But since we are, doing our best part to pretty much give a chronicle of the entire season, the ups as well as the downs, I figure I might as well talk about this game anyway, just because, just for the sake of being a custodian of history. So, if you watch my NFL prediction video that came out last week, I said that I thought Kansas City would win the game. So really, the outcome here is not surprising at all. What's surprising to me is just how bad the Raiders lost. Losing by 16 points at home is something you really don't expect out of this team anymore, but it happened. And you take a look at the things that went wrong. A couple of things. Let's just kind of run down the final stats and see if we can glean some insight about this and see what went wrong and improve upon it in future games. So Alex Smith, great day, went 19 for 22, 224 yards, but no touchdowns. Derek Carr, same yardage, 22 for 34, one touchdown, one interception. But the thing is, he got sacked twice, and that's one thing that's really troubling me with these last two games. Is that the O line has held up so incredibly well the last couple of games, but just the last two outings, we're starting to see some signs of weakness. And watching Derek Carr have to run the ball is an absolute just nightmare because this dude is like one hit away from just being carted off the field. So he needs to stay in the pocket at all costs. I mean, he's really getting rushed now, and we saw that definitely against Kansas City where he had to basically do his best Tyrod Taylor impersonation, and it's obvious by that one fumble at the very end of the game doesn't serve this team well. And really, the offense couldn't get anything going in the rain. It was just bad. I mean, the Raiders are known for putting up a lot of points in the fourth quarter. They did absolutely nothing. Even when the defense came in there and gave them, like two or three shots to actually do something and make a competitive game, just wasn't feeling it. And a lot of that has to do with the rushing game. DeAndre Washington, Jalen Richard, they're both very, very good running backs, and I do like the running back by committee thing the Raiders are doing this season. But really, it wasn't until this game that I realized just how important it is to have Latavius Murray on the roster. Like, he's a guy where you want running the ball on first down. I mean, Washington and Richard, they're very good in certain situations, but really Latavius Murray, he's the dude that you want setting the tempo for the run game. He's a guy that can get 100 yards easy, and I don't really see Washington or Richard really doing that. I mean, they might break off like a 60-yard run during a game, but just having them go out there and relying upon them to get the run game going, just not going to happen. And of course, you don't really need to tell anything about Kansas City's rushing game and the Raiders' rushing defense. Spencer Ware had, 131 yards running the ball against the Raiders, which is absolutely inexcusable. And, when you have pretty comparable offenses aerially, which I think Oakland and Kansas City are very, very similar in terms of their passing game, especially in a bad weather game, who do you go for? Well, you go for the team that can run the ball, and clearly Kansas City can run the ball, and Oakland just couldn't. Looking at some bright spots here, well, clearly, I mean, the Raiders did a pretty good job keeping the ball out of the end zone in terms of the passing game, running on the other hand. Don't even want to get into that. Amari Cooper had a great first half, 129 yards, 10 receptions overall. So it kind of seemed like, he may have been on path like a 300-yard day, but what happened to the offense in the second half? It just absolutely went away. And I don't know. It's just too much pressure on Derek Carr. Michael Crabtree had two pickups the entire game. You just got to get the O-line in there. You got to give Carr some time, and this team can go out there and do some incredible things. But just not in this one. And, of course, you have the two fumbles from Derek Carr, which is very, very unlike him. Defense, I'm actually going to do something that's the opposite of what a lot of people think. I'm actually going to give them a little bit of credit because you saw them in the third and fourth quarter. They did their part. I mean, yeah, the run game tore them up, but, they at least gave the offense some opportunities late in the fourth to tie the game. And really is the offense that totally hunched the pooch on this one. So, yeah, it was a bad loss. A loss I predicted, but one that was ultimately way worse than it ever should have been. I don't know what happened. Maybe it's not being able to establish the run game. Maybe it's the O-line not giving Derek Carr enough time. But just a really, really bad showing. This is easily the worst game the Raiders have had all year. And disappointing. The one silver lining out of all this is even with the win, Oakland is still, the win by Kansas City, I mean to say, Oakland is still number one in the AFC West. So really it didn't do a whole lot to shake things up, but if things get very, very tight down the stretch, this game could be very, very, very important in determining who goes to the postseason and maybe who wins the AFC West. All right. So coming up next, we got Jacksonville. Jacksonville is not a very good team. The Raiders should win this one. Like I said, operative term, should win. So what will we see? Will we see a Raiders with a very good O-line who can establish the run and get 300 yards of passing offense? Hopefully. Will we see a defense that can actually put pressure on the quarterback? And Blake Bortles is a guy who can get sacked a lot in one game if you've been watching the Jaguars all this season. Will that happen? I don't know. But we need a combination of both. If the Raiders' offense plays well, they might win a game. If the Raiders' defense plays well, we know they're going to win a game. And we'll see what Raiders team shows up this weekend. I want to see this team go to 5-2. 4-3 is not a place you want to be at any time, anywhere. So fingers crossed. Hopefully it's an aberration and this team finds a way to play better. And of course, we do have that rematch coming up later in the season against Kansas City, which I believe is a Thursday night game. And hopefully we're going to have a far different outcome from a far different looking team by then. But just for the time being, a bad loss, you accept it, you take it, you lick your wounds, and you move on. Jacksonville approaches.